Unsee the future.
Think blinks.
Yes, let's wireframe some UX. Hello, I'm Timo Peach, and as a social impact storyteller, I've been meeting changemakers to hear how they're really feeling about their work at the moment and to ask them one rather clever question. Today I'm meeting Eller in Barcelona from social impact technology business, Both of Us. Eller Everett, thank you ever so much for joining me on this Unsee the Future Think Blink. What do you think sustainability champions and managers most need or want now to make better emotional impact with the possibilities?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I would say, and this is actually I've stolen from a hero of mine called Rob Hopkins, who is the founder of the Transition Network. And what he says is that we need to be looking for win-win-win-win solutions. So not just a solution that's good for the company or not just good for the environment, but that is good for everything. Right. So it's good for society, it's good for the employees, it's good for the whole supply chain. It's also good for people on the other side of the world. It's good for the environment, locally and globally. It's good for the business, well, of course, in terms of revenue, in terms of innovation, and in terms of future generations. For the emotional side as well, it has to be really coming from the center of the company. So involving the stakeholders, involving the employees, the customers, and getting them to have an emotional connection and having them to win as well. So that customers know they're making the right choices, so that everyone involved is emotionally connected and knows that everything they're doing is going to something really positive. Everyone involved is emotionally connected.
That's interesting. You're a consultant with a real permaculture perspective, aren't you? Where's the emotional center of that for you? Why is that maybe central?
Well, to start with, I use the permaculture principles a lot for everything I do, from personal life to work to literally everything, because I think it's a way of thinking. And one of the permaculture principles is observe. So observe and interact. And I think this is super relevant in getting this emotional side, because if you haven't really observed the company, then you don't know if you're helping them or hindering them, because you can't make positive changes unless people are connected to it. You have to feel the pain of society, of the environment, in order to actually be able to make these choices and make changes.
No, totally. You're talking there about grief in a way. And this sounds immediately spiritual, emotional, very disconnected from can do, sort it out, parachute people in. And yet that very permaculture sense of connection, of building relationships, partly with the truth, like storytelling, is, that's how you getting at the truth is where you get solutions, right?
You need to feel this pain, but you also need to have this hope and to be able to imagine something better. Because if you can't imagine the future, if you can't imagine how your company would be in 10 years, if you can't imagine living in a world or in a city where everyone is living off the food that they grow, if you don't have this imagination, then you can't create it. You can't create something that you can't see. And then you can look at, okay, how do we reach that? And it gives people this yearning of something that they didn't know existed, because it's
a yearning for something they didn't know existed. I love that. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. It's new stories of us.
Yeah, exactly. If you can envision, okay, what world do I want my children or my grandchildren to live in? And then it kind of helps you come up with this roadmap almost of reaching it.
Eller Everett, thank you so much for joining me today. Yes, here's to making more emotional connections. Thank you for connecting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure.
Unsee the future.